Well, fair play. The results are in much earlier today. The last couple of weeks, it's been about 6 o'clock in the evening. By the time I got the video done, it's been about 7 o'clock. Well, how did I do? Look, Zone 3, just outside Zone 2. But on Saturday's video, I said I'm going to go a bit lower and further to the left than the average. Dropped a clanger there, didn't I? Because I probably would have been in Zone 2. What was the average? The average was 2547. How does that fit in there? And 1491. So yeah, the average would have been in Zone 2 this week, whereas I ignored it and went further to the left, further down, and ended up in Zone 3. Well, there we are. Can't be helped. Let's have a look at the judging then, see why they went where they went. So here's the judging video. It's a bit of a cluster around there. There's one a little bit further down, one a little bit further up to the right. I don't think they're that far enough out to be removed. But there's one all the way over here and all the way up this high. There's always a daft one. Every week we have a silly one. And that'll come out surely. But yeah, I mean, they all went around the same sort of area, didn't they? They are very much clustered. And I'll be more or less happy with the judging if that one that's nowhere near the others gets taken out. So let's have a look. Yeah, they took it out, and of course, if he had redrawn the lines going up there, then of course he would have made a much smaller diamond shape in there, and because that one would have been redrawn as well. So yeah, he'd have had a much smaller shape there. So that's quite a respectable cluster there. So whether we agree with where the winning cross is or not, they are relatively clustered together. All right, let's have a look at this week's picture. This is what we've all been waiting for. And I can't even remember if I've put a cross on there yet. Oh, I have. I have put a cross on there. Right, let's draw some lines then. Because, what did I do and why did I do it? Right, this fella on the left, with his head tilted right back. Now, when I look at his eyes are looking straight forward in line with his head. So the best I could do here was draw a line from sort of the top of his nose up in that direction, and I wanted to keep it in line with his head, well, and his nose, I suppose. Oh, that rhymes. So that's what I did there. So, because if you look at his eyes, he's looking more or less straight forward, up obviously, but straight forward. So then it depended on where was this guy on the right intersecting his view. I wasn't sure, and I'm still not sure. But my first cross, I've gone, because he looks like he's looking quite steep, doesn't he? So I've gone there. So if I draw a bit of a laser beam from his eyeball, yeah, that looks reasonable. And the other one, it doesn't look like they've mucked about with the eyes this time either. They look reasonably, as though they're both looking in the same direction. Because every week, well, most weeks, they fiddle about with some of the eyes and they make them look a bit wog-eyed. Which is a funny term. Because a friend of mine, my old housemate, is wog-eyed. You never know where he's looking. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, that's what I've gone there. So I can't even see the coordinate I've put in there. 15761095. I'll put that down as the first coordinate for this week. So leave me a coordinate so we can make another video on Saturday and see where we are. I think we're going to have quite a spread this week because the ball undoubtedly is going to be a long way away because it's quite high. Either way, it's going to be high. Look at all this space above the players. That's there for a reason. So the ball's going to be quite high, which means it's a long way away from both players. So I think, depending on how everybody interprets it, there's going to be quite a wide spread here. I think, yeah, but I'm quite happy with the way I've got his look in that direction there. But it all depends because he's looking straight forward, isn't he, from his face. So it all depends on what angle you think that this fella on the right is looking. Is he looking higher? Is he looking lower? Either way, I don't think it's going to be much out from that sort of area there. So could it be the light a bit down underneath it, or maybe as far as the sky at the top of the roof, somewhere in that area. Well, there we are. Let's have a look at Revcomps. I've done a few this time. I know I said I wouldn't, but I did. So I did the Mustang, obviously, because it's 45 grand, cash alternative. I had to do that. And then when I looked at this Audi RS Q3, and I thought, yeah, they're a cracking car. And I like the colour. And it was £5 came with it. And I thought, oh, that £5's not to be sniffed at, is it? So I thought, yeah, go on, I'll have a ticket on that. And then somebody else a couple of days later said they had a ticket on the Volkswagen tow rag. And I had a closer look at that and I thought, damn, that's a nice car, that. That's a bit of a beast. It's a 3-litre V6 diesel 4x4. So I just couldn't help myself. I just bought a ticket on there as well. I didn't bother with this big motorhome or this Jag. What did they add last night for next Monday's draw? And while we're on the subject of last night, I didn't actually watch the draw last night. I was sitting down watching Suits. I've watched it before, brilliant series. And I was chilling out on my sofa watching Suits. But I had the draw on my monitor on silent in the corner, so I could see what they were drawing. So when it came to sort of drawing mine, I was keeping an eye out on my phone, waiting for that phone call from Robbie again, the one I've had before. But it didn't happen, of course. But I did win. They don't do a competition as such on there now, but they give you a question. You can go onto the site and answer the question that was mentioned on the thing, on the draw, and I won a tenner. Although according to the winners list, I'm not on there, and there's no sign of me winning a tenner. However, I had an email saying you've won a tenner in credit, which I immediately spent. So I haven't got one on this RS4 or the Range Rover. But I did like a look at this little thing, this Audi A1 Sportback. And I thought, oh, that'd be a nice little run around. Actually, that's a nicer car than I thought. Because when I put the details into Parker's, into the spec check, and funny enough, as happens quite regularly on Revcomps, the number plate wasn't recognised. But when I put the details in manually, it's a 1.4 petrol, 147 brake horse, 0 to 60, 7.6. I thought, oh, I'll have some of that. It's not just a nice little run around, it's a little flying machine. And according to this, 56 to the gallon. Well, you can't have it both, can you? If it's a nice little run around, it's 56 to the gallon. But, you know, if it's 147 brake horsepower and 0 to 60 is 7.6 seconds, you ain't getting 56 to the gallon out of it. Probably about 35, if you're lucky. But yeah, I thought I'd go for one of them. So I had one of that. And I also had one on this Trackhawk. These are ridiculously fast. I think the 0 to 60 on these is something like 3.5 seconds. 6 point something litre V8, ridiculous machine. 4-wheel drive, but there's a cash alternative of £80,000. I had to lean closer then. So of course I had to have one on there. Might have one or two more on there. And I didn't have one on this Transit, but the auto draws, which I do like, I've got one on this Mito for today because it comes with £3,000 and it's only 27% sold so far. And the draw ends at 10 o'clock. They will send an email out later on saying, cheap ticket, get your last minute cheap tickets, come on, spend your money. Now that would be a nice little run around. Not at all fast, but nice little run around. And they've advertised it as a learner package, so it'd be an ideal first car for someone, £3,000 to take your driving lessons and pass your test and insure it, which would be ridiculous. I already had one on this Focus ST3 Estate. This is a diesel version, but it's still a bit of a rocket. I had one on this as another run around. Didn't bother with the Audi TT. I've got no interest in cutting people's hair or doing perms. Land Rover Defender. I do like these, but it's £30,000 cash alternative, so I thought, yeah, I'd go for the cash alternative. I didn't go for this either. I'm not a farmer. But I like the look of this Golf GTE. These are the hybrids, and I've always liked these, so I had one on there. I know I say every week, right, I'm not buying tickets on cars anymore. I'm only going for the big cash alternatives. But I've got no willpower. I just can't help myself, as one or two of you like to point out. So yeah, let me know how you got on, guys, because it'd be interesting to see this week, because we were clustered quite tightly, and the judges were clustered not far off where we were. So yeah, and leave a coordinate for the weekend. On that note, good luck if you're playing Revcomps this week, and good luck on BOTB this week.